On Halloween back in 2017, I proposed to Kylie using a decanter, an island, and DNA. It was an adventure. The weather rejected me.
But did I reject him?
Watch the video to find out. So I'm going to tell you a story. It's a love story about a boy and a girl. Kylie and I were both recently separated. We were both interested in sport and adventure. We started hanging out, so I asked her on a date. Our first date was a football game, a semi-final I think. It went well. We dated for some time before finally moving in together. We have 4 kids between us, so it was a big family unit. A lot of fun. I was a bit gung-shy to get married again.
And I thought, well, we're not going to get married, and that was okay because I loved him very much.
Then in 2016, something happened. I was diagnosed with cancer. It made me reevaluate my priorities in life. It's amazing what a bit of a scare can do. So it wasn't long after that I realised that Kylie was my priority and I needed to do something about that. So after some long planning, October 2017, the plan went into action to ask her for her hand in marriage. The proposal was a complex one. Kylie and I both had ideas of being involved in a great adventure race, and we love the idea of travel and adventure, obviously given the Van Giles channel. So I was never going to do one of those really romantic, lovey-dovey proposals. My proposal was going to be in the form of an adventure with challenges and clues along the way.
We are known to organise dates for each other, and it was his turn.
So I told Kylie I was organising a date.
Whenever he did organise a date, they were usually next level. Like, it was not just a, we're going out for dinner, we're a nice dress type thing. There was usually something that was full on. I had no idea it was going to end in a proposal.
So the plan was, and this took some planning in the couple of weeks in advance. Obviously there was the purchase of a ring, but in terms of the actual proposal and the adventure, there was a number of steps.
He had asked me to leave the house for an hour or so and
leave it on the doorstep and get the hell out of here.
and then come back. So I just assumed it was going to be a home date, which I was quite excited about because I was pretty tired. Weather was absolute rubbish. I can't remember what I did. I think I went and got my nails done.
When she got home, I was going to surprise her with not being home.
I got home and no Trev.
I had left an envelope dangling from a light fitting in front of the door that she comes through after she gets out of the car.
Normally when I walk through the door to the house, I will always yell out, hello. And in this time, there was absolutely no response.
On the staircase was another message with a dare to go upstairs and get dressed in the clothes laid out on our bed in the bedroom and receive her next clue.
And I can't remember all the details vividly, but there was obviously a note, basically said that I had to go upstairs. And I'm like, oh, here we go. And I'm not going to lie, I had a small bit of annoyance because I was tired.
All of the clues were in the form of poems. The time has arrived to go on a special date to locate your true love, i.e. your best bloody mate. TVA is hiding somewhere, but to make it more fair, he'll give you some clues and challenges too. Put your phone on charge, then shower and change into these laid out clothes or of a similar vein.
And they were warm clothes. So I figured, oh crap, we're going to be outside. There was also like a poncho, one of those ones you wear to the football or the cricket that's just clear. It costs like $2 and you put it over your clothes. So I'm like, oh crap, we're going to be outside in the rain. So I was actually at this point getting a little irritated.
When you are ready, first pass this task or you won't be on your way. So challenge 1. A selfie is required to prove you are set. Then your Uber ride will be booked to transport you to the next.
The Uber came and picked me up, which was weird because I had no idea where I was going or what I was doing, and he didn't really seem to know much and wouldn't give me any information.
So with this, she also got a clue of where my ultimate location was. The clue was TVA is up on high onto Helix. Anyway, so she got in the Uber and made her way down to Central Vic Park.
But we got stuck because there were, I can't remember if it was roadworks or There was something going on, but he couldn't get to where he needed to be.
The Uber had dropped her off in front of a specific place. Not that she knew that. The additional part of the clue that she got was, at the end of your Uber ride, enter the haunted saloon. Order a drink and ask for your next clue.
Which ended up being Decanter, which at the time was fairly new, a fairly regular haunt from us. So that was cool. I was like, oh, it's going to be a Decanter. Happy. Weird way to do it, but whatever. Anyway, so when I walked in, I ended up having to ask for another clue, which was weird.
Now, obviously, to achieve this, I had to arrange to leave the envelope with the next clue at this particular bar, a bar that we had frequented quite often together. They were quite happy to do this for us. It turns out my proposal was occurring on Halloween night, hence the haunted saloon. This particular pub had a Halloween party organised with dress-ups. Of course, Kylie was turning up, the only one not dressed up.
It was Halloween, so they were all dressed up.
She was the only one not dressed up, speaking. Anyway, so the next clue says, well done on arriving. To source your next clue, you're getting much closer. Now let's see what you can do. You missed TVA, but that's okay. Now some more challenges. Let's get underway. Your challenge continues, not as easy as the first. Message TVA with the answer to this verse. The final score at our first date. Now, as I'd mentioned earlier, our first date was to a football game. So she needed to use her internet skills on the fly and figure out what was the score of that game. Anyway, so she did that. She answered it correctly, sent me the text. The other part of her challenge, so this was challenge 3, while she was at the pub. Once you have answered correctly, your next ride will be ordered, but not before you send TVA a selfie with an empty glass all sorted.
And yeah, I enjoyed my drink. We just chilled out. I was there for probably about 20-25 minutes, I think, having a drink with a couple of staff because it was pretty early. So it wasn't like we hadn't been there many times. So they gave me the clue and again had to take a selfie and send that to Trev to prove that I had been there.
And at this point, she got her next clue of my eventual location. The clue was TVA is on Twisted Metal. So remembering the first one was TVA is up high on 2 helix. She then had to go wait outside for her next Uber with further instructions. She didn't know where she was going, obviously, but Uber driver obviously did.
I'm back in the Uber. The weather is still crap. It hasn't rained yet. But at this point, I knew it was going to rain. And so I was getting more pissy about it because I love a good date. I do. But I was just tired, cold, a little bit cranky.
So when she arrived at her next location, this happened to be Elizabeth Quay in the centre of Perth City.
So the Uber drops me off.
At this point, she had to go into the Isle of Voyage, which is now a pub, but it was called the Isle of Voyage back then. And I had left another challenge and clue with the bar.
Okay, so I got a text from Trev and I knew that I needed to go to the restaurant that was on the island and it was freezing.
So she went into the Isle of Voyage and collected her challenge and clue.
Got to the restaurant, it was packed, and I went in and I spoke to the lady at the front counter and asked her for the next clue. She didn't really have any idea what I was talking about. And I said, I know there's a clue here. So she went and got the manager and the manager came out and he went, yes, and he gave me the clue. So I opened that up.
The next challenge required her to go out into the streets or the boardwalk of Elizabeth Quay.
I had to find someone that was willing,
A random person or people, get them on their phone
to take a selfie with me, but the catch was it had to be on their camera or their phone.
and then she had to send that selfie to me to verify she completed the task. Good luck.
Which, obviously, in today's world, who wants to give out their phone number to anyone?
Welcome to the Isle of Voyage. You missed TVA too. The poem further went on to say, but whatever you do, don't let them escape, as the next clue will message to you and your new selfie mate.
Anyway, so I was a little bit nervous. I went outside and I was waiting, and then this couple came out and I thought, well, you know what? I'm just going to ask them. So I did. And they looked very uncertain, but the door was still open. And the guy gave me the clue, was standing there. I'm like, can you just tell these people that this is legit? And he said, yep, her partner's come in, handed us a clue, and we've had to give it to her when she asked. And then I found out that this couple were there on their wedding anniversary. So they were all all a bit loved up and happy for the romance of the date, they decided that they would have the photo and then send it to Trev via text. That was kind of cool. But then we had to wait because then Trev had to send them back a text with the next instructions, and they were really chatty. It was really cool. I can't remember what wedding anniversary it was though.
The poem went on to further say, once you have clue 3, you must guess TVA's location.
And it was something to do with royalty.
The next clue said that TVA is at the Royal Gardens.
I thought, and of course at this point the couple are totally bought into this, I thought it was the Royal at East Perth. That's where I thought I was going to be going. But then I can't remember if it was them or me that worked out that no, it was Kings Park. At this point, it had started to rain.
Message TVA on your phone with a location estimation. If you are correct, TVA will give you confirmation. Then you'll jump in a taxi and head to your speculation. If you are incorrect, to the bell tower proceed to catch your next Uber ride and a message you will receive. Now, she did guess the general location.
Obviously got it right. But then I couldn't find a taxi. So Elizabeth Quay is not the easiest place to get a taxi. It's raining. So then I knew I had to go up to one of the major streets, like up towards the city, to get myself a taxi. So then I'm walking in the dark, in the rain, by myself to get this taxi. So of course I'm even getting more irritated. Find a taxi, jump in, asked to be taken to Kings Park at the DNA Tower.
So she did organise a taxi and made her way to Kings Park. She also guessed DNA Tower.
So he takes me, because that's a weird request, in the dark in the rain. And I'm thinking, well, he's going to be there. And I had no idea what was going on because it was raining. So I figured we're not picnicking, but I really did not know what was happening.
And the final part of the clue was, now you're getting hot, TVA's in Kings Park. Your next clue is simple, climb the highest part. So she had to make her way to DNA Tower, hence the helix and twisted metal. I was waiting at the top in my tuxedo. It was raining, it was really windy, it was horrible weather. I had to hide in the car quite a few times when showers came through. Anyway, when she was coming, it was still drizzling. I waited at the top, hiding. I had run past there a couple of times to suss it out beforehand, and there was a light fitting that I thought would floodlit that entire area, so it was kind of safe for her to step out of the taxi and make her way up to the DNA Tower. That light fitting was broken.
There was no lights. And normally, having run Kings Park many, many times, there are lights all around the area and there was no lighting. But I knew that I needed to get the clue from the drink fountain.
And the taxi driver was suggesting she shouldn't get out of the taxi in this very dark, horrible location.
He was very concerned that he was dropping me in Kings Park in the middle of the darkness. Anyway, I did say to him, I guarantee that there is no way Trev would not be here.
And I was there.
So then I had to use the light of my phone to find the next clue, which was attached to the only drink fountain. At this point, when I opened the clue, I knew that Trev was at the top of the DNA Tower. So I gestured to the taxi driver to go, which in hindsight was probably really stupid because I had no idea how Trev got there. I also really didn't know for certain he was there, and then I was going to be left by myself. So I climbed the DNA Tower, and then as soon as I got to the top, I knew, because Trev was there in, I might cry now, in a suit or in a tux. Were you in a tux or a suit?
Well, glad it was so memorable for you.
And there could be no other reason why you would be standing in the DNA Tower in the dark, in the rain, waiting for me.
On my one knee with the ring, and I proposed. So Kylie was a real trooper to follow through with all these challenges and dares and clues and make her way, and she said yes, which is lucky because this would be a very awkward video if she didn't.
Yes, I did. And it was a great ring, good choice. And then there was hugging, and then there was it's freezing, let's go. And then we went back and followed all the places that I had already been.